3,000 doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine are coming to Georgia, but we don't know exactly when. Governor Kemp's office is expected to tell us much more about that tomorrow. But with the arrival of that third vaccine, let's take a look at the differences between them.
The Moderna and Pfizer vaccines both require 2 shots, while the Johnson & Johnson vaccine requires only 1. The first 2 must be stored at super cold temperatures, while the Johnson & Johnson vaccine does not. Studies show Moderna and Pfizer about 95% effective in preventing coronavirus. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is about 66% effective. But trials show all 3 vaccines reduce the rate of COVID-19 hospitalization and death by 100%. And trials in South Africa show the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is also effective against some of the new COVID-19 variants. We do not yet know if that is true for Pfizer and Moderna.